your forecast first. Sponsored by Natex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Here as we start off the work week, a lot of clear skies, and it hasn't really changed from what we had a lot of last week. What you will notice, if you can think back about a week, dew points and the warmth in the air wasn't even around for us. It was feeling great by August standards. Clear skies for us. Temperatures, though, a little different. We're in the upper 60s and lower 70s, plus there is that mugginess that we're going to have to contend with as we go throughout the morning and definitely by the afternoon as those temperatures will keep on climbing. We're up around the 90-degree mark today, but a lot of dry weather for the first half of the work week. Christy and Mac, looks like the second half of the work week could bring possibly some tropical moisture. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Good morning to the two of you.
Good morning, Adam. You almost caught me yawning there for just a second. They were laughing at me. That's all right. We're starting the week off right, so it's been pretty good so far. Very nice out there.
Yeah, not too bad. You can feel a little heat in the air, but
yeah, summer is still here. We'll
August 24th, so what could we expect, right?
Yeah, understandable. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. I'm McLeod Hageman.
And I'm Christy Batista. Here's a look at today's top stories.
Students at the U of I will be back in the classroom today. For the first time in months, the university canceled class after spring break back in March.
WCIA 3's Karina Rubio joins us live on campus with a recap of their reopening plan. Good morning, Karina.
Hey, Christy, good morning. The university says that a big part of the reopening plan was the saliva testing. The U of I launched that back in July, and Chancellor Robert Jones told me that that played a big factor in allowing students to come back to campus in some capacity. Since July, the university has tested more than 60,000 students and staff members. The innovative saliva test just received FDA approval to expand nationally. Classes will be a mixture of online and in person, with those face-to-face meeting times saved for mainly smaller type lab classes. All residence hall rooms have a 2-person occupancy limit, and there are no outside visitors allowed. Dining hall use will also be limited, with packaged carry-out meals available. University officials also say that there are designated quarantine areas for students and staff members that test positive for the virus or have symptoms for it, and the first testing site for today opens up at 6 a.m. at the State Farm Center. Reporting live in Urbana, Karina Rubio, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, thank you, Karina. Well, students pack the quad every year at the U of I to bring in a brand new school here. It's part of a tradition called Quad Day. Now, students learn about things like student clubs and everything in between on campus, but this year's event was held online. Nearly 2,000 participants were on hand virtually every day. Organizers say that fewer people actually showed up than last year.
It was a good effort by our team to reimagine what Quad Day could be in a virtual world.
Organizers say even though fewer people turned out, it was still a success.
So the skies right now, we're looking at a lot of clear conditions, and we're noticing maybe a few clouds from here to there. Most of the clouds that were around throughout the overnight have made their way off into the east and are now more so into Indiana, where they actually have had some rain throughout the overnight. For us over this way, things haven't been really too active at all, and really it's been the trend and the theme for the past week, maybe even a week and a half. Storm tracker Doppler, quiet, high pressure going to be in control for today. There are those showers and storms now moving into eastern Indiana. I mean, yeah, no rain today, but it's something that could be on the horizon for us as we go later into the week. Tropical moisture heading up towards us. Now, it's not going to be this one right here. This is actually tropical storm Markle now that is beginning to head its way northward. It's going to be heading into inland and starting to impact parts of the Gulf Coast and Alabama into parts of maybe even Mississippi with some of those winds, and definitely it looks like a lot of people are going to be dealing with the rain. But it's farther south and west, still into parts of the Caribbean, that they are dealing with the next tropical system, which is Laura, which is going to be heading up into our region. We'll see how close it does get to us, but temperatures are in the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're going to deal with the heat for the next few days, and that's going to be something that you'll have to really be mindful of, because those heat indices will get up closer to 100 again. And really, I think we could use some rain because it's been dry for quite some time for us, and it still looks like that's going to be the case, at least for the first half of the work week. But the second half could bring in that tropical moisture and perhaps maybe even more rain chances into the weekend. We'll talk about if that comes along with a cool down or not here in a bit. Christy?
Thanks, Adam. A group of volunteers made nearly 900 back-to-school kits, each one personalized for certain grades and ages. And as WCIA3's Andy Olson tells us, they even had a little help from an Illini legend.
It's back to school season, but it's not one we've ever seen before. Schools are choosing to be back in the classroom, all remote, or a mix of both. But through it all, Back to School Illinois' mission has stayed the same, providing school supplies for kids who need them.
There's about 1.2 million families in Illinois that are considered low income every year. And these are the ones that are having to make those hard decisions about whether they pay the rent, the mortgage, or how they pay for food. So often school supplies, unfortunately, they can't afford it. And so what our organization does is provide them.
The nonprofit says the pandemic has had an impact on how families can afford school supplies, especially those who have been out of work for an extended amount of time.
Receiving the kit really helps out a lot, especially considering I'm just now getting back to work, so this kind of helps out a lot.
The assembly line for the kits had volunteers from all over, and it also included the all-time leading scorer in Fighting Illini history. Dion Thomas says he's known the nonprofit's CEO for years, and when they came to Champaign, he knew he wanted to help.
We thought that a partnership, it would be great to come back and do something here in the community. So I went and spoke to my higher-ups, Howard Milton and Josh Whitman were on board with doing something here back in the community. So we just wanted to be able to come together and be able to do something good for the people here.
Back to School Illinois couldn't see kids' reactions in person. They're getting help distributing from the Stevens Family YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the Odyssey Project, and the Vermilion County Regional Office of Education. But they're still happy to know they're making a difference.
It's just tremendously rewarding to see that firsthand impact.
Now, this was the first time Back to School Illinois had the event in Champaign, but they are hoping to turn it into an annual one. Springfield police are looking for a driver who hit a child and then took off.
That's right. 7-year-old Jack Thornley was riding his bicycle home from a friend's house in the Palisades subdivision. That's when he was hit by a car after the driver didn't stop at a stop sign. Now, Jax walked home and then was taken to St. John's Hospital in Springfield.
Distracted, driving is a thing, and whether it's a phone or, driving while intoxicated or sleepy, just driving a vehicle unaware of your surroundings is not okay.
And Jax is now back home. Police are looking for a small white car with damage to the passenger side.
Police are investigating 2 shootings in Champaign that sent 5 people to the hospital. The first one happened on Bloomington Road near Willis Avenue. It's the same area where a 22-year-old man was shot and killed earlier this month. Police say in this case they found a 29-year-old man who was shot twice where a group had been gathered outside of a business. Police believe the suspect's car ran over the victim while they were leaving, and that also hurt his leg. He was taken to the hospital. The second shooting happened on Kenwood Road. Police say that was at a party taking place outside of an apartment when a fight broke out there. 4 men with gunshot wounds were taken to the hospital, and one of them was hit in the chest. We are working to learn how they're doing, and police are working to learn whether those shootings are connected.
New this morning, a 17-year-old boy is expected to be in court for sentencing this afternoon. He pleaded guilty to unlawful possession of a firearm last month. The teenager was found with a loaded handgun in a car back in January. Police were then investigating the shooting at Marketplace Mall. Well, it's a waiting game of sorts whether farmers use nitrogen in the fall or springtime.
Coming up in this morning's report from the farm, we take a look at what most farmers tend to do. We'll be right back with that.